It's the day after, and the day after, everyone is talking about Kyle Larson completely dominating at Kansas Speedway. That is exactly what he did. He's now your points leader. He's got a lot going on in the month of May, and he's here right now. So he's your points leader. He three-time winner this season, completely dominated yesterday. He's racing at Kokomo tonight. He's IndyCar this week, and to be back at the All-Star. I mean, it is just Kyle Larson's world, and all of us are just living in it. So he's here now. So talk me through the night. What time do you get to Indy? What does your day look like today out there?
Yeah, we flew to Indy last night after the race, so kind of hung at the track there for a little bit, and then I don't know. Yeah, got here to the speedway at like 10:30 maybe p.m. So nothing crazy at all. Today's not much going on here at the track. I'll race the sprint car tonight at Kokomo Speedway with high limits, and then then we're supposed to be on track tomorrow if the weather's okay. So things are.
We're not saying the R word yet. We are definitely not saying it at all, Kyle.
Yeah, I know. Trust me. When I got here, I looked at the 14-day forecast, so it's still iffy currently, but hopefully it gets better.
What does a week look like for you? Because I was looking for folks that might not follow IndyCar. I was looking at the schedule, and it's like practice Tuesday, practice Wednesday, practice Thursday. How much of that are you involved in?
Yeah. So it's let's see, Tuesday through I think Friday is like practice from noon to 6, and it depends on like your team's practice plan.
Hi, Caitlin. I could see her in the background. Hi.
Yeah, I finally got her out of bed to cook breakfast. No,
Good morning.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It depends on your practice plan and kind of what you have going on and what changes your team wants to make, and if there's large changes that may take time or whatever. So, although there's a lot of practice time scheduled, you really don't get, I feel like, a ton of practice. So at least that's how it was last year. So we'll see how it goes this year. Hopefully everything goes smooth and our car's good and all that. But yeah, this week's a lot of practice and then qualifying on the weekend. And then next week's just a couple days of practice, I think. So it's not as hectic as it I think has been built up to be. At least it probably used to be, a ton of time and practice and all that. But I feel like nowadays they've limited it some, and it's a good flow for the couple weeks.
Are you like most people? Because I mentioned to you before we kind of started recording that I would look at a week like this and be like, oh my gosh, it's just so busy. I know you love this. This is what you do, right? It's in your DNA. But do you kind of at all look at it and go, wow, this is a really busy week for me?
Not at all. I look at
No?
it. I look at it kind of opposite.
That's
I'm in a
awesome.
car most days of the week, anyways. So, and with that, I'm traveling a lot when I'm in the car. So this couple weeks, I'm in a car often, but I'm in one place for 2 weeks. So it's pretty easy compared to my normal week, my normal life of, you know, traveling to dirt races and traveling to cup races and all that. So yeah, I think it surprises people when I say this is two of the easiest, simplest logistic weeks of my life.
That's amazing. One of the things in my career that I really wanted to do is to be able to cover different sports, right? NFL, NBA, college football, college basketball, NASCAR. I've covered it all. And when I kind of look at you getting in different kinds of race cars, I think people look at it and go, "Holy cow, like this is amazing what he can do." How much did you think about that when you started racing that you wanted to be the guy that could jump in anything and go?
Well, I think yes, it was something I always wanted to do growing up. You just don't know if you're going to adapt well at it or not. But
Mhm.
I think the drive for me to want to do that was, I really looked up to Tony Stewart, and he was doing all of that, and at a high level.
Still is.
Yeah, no kidding. Um, so yeah, I think having him as kind of a guy I looked up to, and even Jeff Gordon, when he was coming up through the ranks, he was really versatile as well. So yeah, I wanted to be in that category of guy with Tony and Mario, AJ, Parnelli, guys like that. So yeah, that was always a goal of mine, and it's just been really cool for it to for me to be able to get those opportunities along the way to, run lots of different types of cars and then, be able to adapt well and excel at it.
I'm sure you've answered this question so many times about like sort of making the switch from one car to the next, but is there something that you have to tell yourself? Is there one sort of variable in each time you get in the car, each time you're ready to take a green flag that you have to remind yourself just that maybe translates?
So like in the beginning when I first moved to Indiana in 2011 and I was racing, I don't know, 100 times a year, but it was in different cars, different types of cars every day of the week, dirt to pavement, wing, non-wing, different engines and all that. Like, yes, back then when I first started, I had to like shut my eyes and picture, me making laps and what the driving style takes and all that. But after you do it enough, you kind of
Yeah.
just strap in and go, and I don't really think about it at all. So, yeah, the Indy car is probably a little bit different because I'm not experienced in it, and there's more going on in the cockpit, so there's more to think about. But once you get on the track and get to speed, it's kind of like anything else.
And I know you mentioned the wreck that you had in the open practice for the Indy car was sort of like the first time that you've experienced that, right? Like, how do you think that that's maybe going to help you when you do start to move forward in this process during May?
Well, I think the crash, although it sucked to crash, thankfully it wasn't, anything major.
Yeah.
But then also it was a good reminder, I think, for all of us on the team that like, hey, I don't do this often, so like we need to
Hmm.
approach things slower and almost treat me as a rookie again coming into this, second attempt at it. Because I think we probably just got a little bit ahead of ourselves, at the
Huh.
test and thinking that, because I've done it, we don't need to like go over and review things quite as in detail. So, yeah, I think that part of it, finding the positive of it was that. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I look forward to getting back in the car. I totally forgot that we even crashed until you mentioned it.
I'm
So,
sorry.
no,
My
you're good.
bad.
Good, because it's again a good reminder. But yeah, hopefully our car balance has gotten better over these couple weeks, and we'll that'll make things easier as well.
All right. How many times on the ride home last night did you watch that last lap from Kansas and watch that tire? What in the heck happened there? Because I think everyone was kind of holding their breath at home when we saw that chunk of the tire come off on that last lap.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't watch
Did you know what
it.
happened?
No, but I could. Maybe I don't know if that was what I was feeling, but man, the last like 3 laps, my car was just shaking super
Ugh.
bad. So that's why I slowed down so much. I just thought, you know, that was a really long run. I was just waiting for my right rear or left rear to load. So yeah, I was just super nervous and just trying to like be extra gentle with the car. So yeah, that's why I slowed down a ton.
Yeah, how much, I remember back in the day when I'd be on pit road, Carl Edwards was, like, the worst, right? If he was leading lots of laps, he'd be like, "This is happening, that is happening, I feel this, I hear this," and his crew chief would just be like, "Yeah, you're fine, it's nothing." Do those mental games start going on in your head as well?
Uh, uh, Not often, but like yesterday, just with the car shaking, yeah, I was definitely on my
My
mind. But
god.
a lot of times, I've led lots of laps and lots of races late in the race. Um, it,
You're like, "I got this."
no, I'm always like, all right, when's the caution gonna fly?
Uh-huh.
When's somebody gonna wreck or whatever. And there was cars, hitting the wall in front of me or flat tires on the apron. I'm like, man, just NASCAR, please just keep this thing green. So thankfully, yeah, we didn't have a late race caution and have to come down pit road or have a crazy restart or anything like that. And it was just smooth the end for us.
Yeah, so, like, what you look like when we're watching it on TV is that, like, "Oh, Kyle Larson is out front, he's dominating, this is an easy race," but maybe the mental part of it when you're out front for a long period of time is different than when you're racing and trying to get up front?
Yeah, I think it's different, for sure when you're leading late in the race and trying to manage a gap versus when you're in second and you're just kind of just chasing, the leader and trying to run really hard and just push the limits and stuff. So yeah, the mental side of that is totally different in what it takes to try and execute a good last run. So yeah, thankfully for us, we just kind of had control of the race all day yesterday. My balance for the most part was really good. Long runs, I wasn't where I needed to be, but overall, our car was in a great spot to you know not have to push things super hard.
All right, and you kinda called it, right? So let's listen to what you said on Friday in the media center. We're gonna remind you what you said, okay? Listen.
Oh my God, Kansas has been so great in the past. They brought a new left side tire. Now the racing sucks. NASCAR, you're idiots. Goodyear, you suck.
By the way, I love edgy Kyle Larson. Like, I love it when you're just, like, a little bit like, "All right, just kinda let it all go." Do you listen? Do you listen to the people calling in on Sirius XM this morning saying that NASCAR should do this and NASCAR should do that because someone's dominating the race?
I used to,
Yeah.
but I don't really anymore. But yeah, I don't know. Race fans and people really in general sometimes. Our standards are all just way too high, and we all expect every race to just be a barn burner and a great, exciting finish, and um, it's just not going to be the case every weekend. So, we had a car that was really fast yesterday, and we led a bunch of laps, but it still was overall a good race, I believe, throughout the pack. So, um, but yeah, Kansas is still a great track. We just put it on them.
Yeah, I think you have to appreciate it, Kyle. I told you before we came on here, I watched Jimmy Johnson for years kind of dominate and do what he did, Jeff Gordon, whomever, and I don't feel like people truly appreciate it when they're living in the moment as to what is really going on. And so I think it's listen, I want to see a great like a, guys kind of battling back and forth and kind of doing stuff, but I also want to see a good butt whooping from time to time, and that's what you gave us yesterday. Switching gears back to Indy before I let you go. By the way, what's for breakfast this morning? Because I see the kiddos kind of running around.
Yeah, I got the bacon started.
I
I
love
ran
it.
out of time to do some eggs. I'm not really a breakfast person, but I'm
Me
trying to
neither.
become a breakfast
Yeah.
person because I don't know. People say that it's the most important meal of the day, so I should probably listen and eat breakfast.
Well,
But yes, we got some bacon and eggs going. Probably a banana. Drink some water.
yeah,
I'm not
cool.
a
Well,
breakfast person.
I'm not either. I just do some coffee, but thanks for letting us join your family this morning. And before we get going, the straight talk straight stat was that your 221 laps is the most ever at Kansas and the most on a mile and a half in the next gen car. It's pretty darn good. Um, before I let you go, Indy, I'm going to kind of put you on a spot, right? On a scale of 1 to 10, people are obviously I was devastated last year when we couldn't see you do the double. I think it's great for the sport. I think it's great for sports fans. I think it's great for everything. On a scale of 1 to 10, like how confident, I know you're confident every time you get in the car. Are you that like you could finish in the top 5 in both and maybe even win both?
Well, I think it still depends. I don't know yet because we haven't practiced yet. And last year I was definitely confident that we could have a good result because I felt like our car balance was really comfortable. Where at the open test I didn't feel that comfortable. So we'll see. I think we have a lot of practice time to figure it out and get comfortable. So yeah, if we can get the balance where I need to be, I think it's an oval. It's a normal race. So I feel like
Mhm.
yeah, if our car is where it needs to be, we can do a good job. Execute good pit stops, restarts, pit cycles, all that. It's just a standard race. So yeah, I think
Mhm.
we could do a good job. I don't know
All
about
right, if you
it, but if we have a good car, I'll try my best for sure.
Well, if you win the All-Star race and we have you on next Monday, I will re-ask this question, and then you will have practice time, so then you can truly tell me how you feel. Good morning, kiddos. Caitlin, everyone have a great morning spending some time together. Have a great week. Good luck in everything that you got going on this week, and enjoy some family time.
Yeah, thank you.
It's going to be a busy week for Kyle Larson. And I mentioned to him before we went on that I know the one that kind of makes everything go this time of the year for Kyle is Caitlin Larson. And I want to give a shout out to all the moms who got to celebrate Mother's Day yesterday. It was so beautiful to see all of the drivers' wives and their mothers, of course, down there with the kiddos on pit road before the race. Drivers posting stuff on X and on Instagram, sort of shouting out the women in their lives who make all of this possible. My kids had a great day. Brady and Liam appreciate the day as well. And yes, the moms, you guys are great. You guys are powerful. You guys are beautiful. And thanks for hanging in there and having a great day, whether you were at Kansas watching it on TV or doing something else. Before we go, I do want to talk about the amount of people that are kind of saying, "Oh my goodness, Kyle Larson." Leading all these laps, Kyle Larson stinking up the show. Here's what I have to say about that. I think we all need to step back and just appreciate greatness because there are not a lot of times in sports where you're going to get somebody like a Kyle Larson, like a Jimmy Johnson, like a Richard Petty, in other sports, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Tom Brady, whomever it may be. And I think we oftentimes appreciate their greatness after they're no longer playing or no longer in the sport rather than appreciating it at the time and really kind of living in the moment. I think that's what we have to do with Kyle, especially as he gets ready to take on what I am so excited to see him do this upcoming month between the dirt and Indy and, of course, the Cup Series. Bravo to Kyle Larson. Get it done. You heard him. He does it all, and it's been fun to watch for sure. And up next, North Wilkesboro. Listen, everybody, I've never been there personally. I have so many people that tell me that I have to go. They say it's like a Fenway, a Lambeau Field, just such a historic place. Maybe I'll take a drive up there to check it out this weekend. And if I do and you see me there, make sure you say hello. So we'll see you next Monday, everybody.